Tom and Nancy Lin, a story of obedience and reconciliation. Tom Lin grew up in a Christian family of Chinese immigrants from Taiwan. He was a bright young man who studied economics at Harvard University. During his years there, he met a wonderful Christian woman named Nancy. They fell in love, married, and began serving together with InterVarsity USA. As they worked among students, God placed a burden on their hearts. They wanted their lives to count for His kingdom. They prayed often, asking God where He wanted them to serve. One day, an unexpected opportunity arrived. God opened a door for overseas ministry. Tom and Nancy sensed that God was calling them to a distant land called Mongolia. The news was not welcomed by everyone. Tom's parents strongly opposed the idea. They wanted their son to stay close to home and find a good job in Chicago. To them, moving halfway around the world seemed unnecessary and risky. Tom and Nancy faced a painful decision. Would they obey God's call or follow the wishes of Tom's family? After much prayer, they chose obedience. Trusting God, they left for the capital city of Ulaanbaatar. The decision broke their parents' hearts and created a deep division in the family. Yet Tom and Nancy believed that following Christ sometimes requires sacrifice. As Jesus said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." Life in Mongolia was not always easy. The culture was different. The language was unfamiliar. The winters were harsh. But God was faithful. Together with other believers, Tom and Nancy began building a ministry among students. They shared the gospel, discipled young Christians, and helped establish strong communities of faith. Year after year, the ministry grew. What started as a small work became several large student groups throughout the city. Tom and Nancy rejoiced as they watched God change lives. Yet amid all the blessings, one sorrow remained. Tom's relationship with his parents was still broken. After several years, Tom felt God leading him to seek reconciliation. He decided to visit his parents during Christmas. When he arrived, they allowed him into their home. But the visit was painful. Throughout the entire Christmas season, they barely spoke to him. The silence hurt deeply. Tom had hoped for healing, but instead he experienced rejection. Still, he chose not to become bitter. He continued praying for his parents and trusted God to work in their hearts. Sometimes God's answers come slowly, but they always come at the right time. Not long afterward, Tom received difficult news. His mother had cancer. She wanted to see him. Tom traveled to meet her, unsure of what would happen. When he arrived, his mother spoke words he never expected to hear. She admitted that she had been wrong. With tears in her eyes, she asked her son for forgiveness for cutting him off and opposing his obedience to God. She told Tom that she longed to be reconciled with him. Then she encouraged him to continue serving Christ faithfully. For Tom, it was a precious moment of healing. The walls that had stood between them for years finally came down. Only a month later, his mother passed away. But before she died, their relationship had been restored. After his mother's death, another miracle happened. Tom's father also reached out. He, too, asked for forgiveness. Father and son were reconciled. The man who had once opposed Tom's missionary calling now encouraged him to continue serving wherever God led him. God had transformed a broken relationship into a testimony of grace. The years of prayer, patience, and faithfulness had not been wasted. God had answered. In time, Tom and Nancy returned to the United States. Tom became a regional director for InterVarsity, continuing to serve students and help others follow Christ. Looking back, they could see God's hand through every chapter of their lives. God called them to serve. God gave them courage to obey. God blessed their ministry. God sustained them through family pain. God brought reconciliation. God turned sorrow into joy. Their story reminds us that obedience to God is not always easy. Sometimes it costs us comfort, approval, and even relationships. But God is faithful. When we trust Him, He works in ways we cannot imagine. And sometimes, after years of waiting, He brings healing where we thought healing was impossible. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3-5-6.